Thanks for coming. I've never done this before, so stand-up's the first for me. So my story is, yes, I first became interested in media when I was 11, in 1981. I wrote to Southern Television, who were just at the end of their franchise, and they were passing on to TVS, and they invited me to go along to their studios, and I went along there and took a tour of their studios. In Studio 3, I was standing there and they had a television camera set up for me to use, and I was learning about what shows were made in this studio. Wurzel Gummidge and Paul McCartney and Wings had made videos there. Howl was made there, all these iconic television programs. I had a visit around the studios, and on the way out he said, we're going to go through Studio 1 now, and he said you need to be quiet because they're rehearsing in this studio for a children's television program. I didn't realise at the time, but there was a young actress there who was doing rehearsals, and this was Sandy Toksvig, her very first role in acting. And so these were the initial steps I took into interest in television. And so when I was at school in 1983, the option came up in media studies, and I thought, interested in that. And then the option of getting involved in practical filmmaking. As Dave said, this was pioneering. This had never been introduced into Portsmouth schools before. So we were pioneers in some ways in what we were making. So I understood the practical side of things. I was 13 at the time. So we could make a project. And this was very basic. This was just going out and filming people, observations of people. So I knew how to use camera and how to compose. But the one lesson Dave said to me, which has always stuck with me, let the subject do the work. Because when you put a camera on people, they will do the most wonderful things. And you'll see some acts in this film where people just do some unexpected things, which are quite entertaining. And it's a fun film. It's quite crude in some ways because we could only film it at weekends and during school breaks. So we took the camera out, and as Dave said, it was a big camera, heavy recorder, a battery that only lasted 30 minutes. So we had to really be quick. And then the crash edit, which we had a 2-hour block to sort of throw it together in some ways. So yeah, it's a bit rough around the edges, but you'll see a thread there, which is we are observing children. We start with children in the morning, and then we go through with teenagers, and then we get to the working age. There's a postman, there's construction workers, and you'll see images of the city as it was then in 1983. And there's a lot of changes to the city now. The play park, Arundel Play Park, is very different now. Arundel Street, you'll see, which was the old Labour Club. Don't people remember the Labour Club? But that's changed now. So we went through the day. And the soundtrack was Radio Solent, which was
Victory.
Radio Victory. Mistake. There is a link to Radio Solent, which I'll say in a minute. So yeah, we took the soundtrack, which was a day's output from Radio Victory, and we took samples of songs and news items and some sort of comical, humorous pieces from the broadcasters, and we laid this as the soundtrack. And we put this all together. And then I don't know how it came about, but it was entered into the 1983 JVC Children's Video Competition.
Now, me being cheeky, I just sent it.
Not expecting anything to come back from this.
No, I had no idea.
We were notified that it had been selected as one of the finalists, and we were invited to the National Film Theatre for a screening presentation by a chap in the industry at the time called Brian Truman, which did children's show called Screen Test. So we went up there on the day, and we had the presentation, and I think it was a gift or something. But this, for a 13-year-old, was fantastic, something which I'll never forget. And then it was entered into the Tokyo Film Festival. Okay, the Japanese public loved it. The Emperor sent me a telegram personally. And we
didn't go there.
And he gave me a better mark than B+. I thought I'd just get that in there. And then, Radio Solent did a news feature on us, which my friend, who's Rock back here did a copy for me, which I played to you.
Yeah.
We've still got that. So, yeah, and that's my story really. So, as I say, it's an 8-minute film, and it's just an observational film, and it's got some humorous parts in it, which comes across. But they're natural human acts, aren't they? They're just observing people, and that's about it really. So enjoy the film.
Thanks.